Hey everyone, welcome to another Typology interview. We have Holly. How's it going?
Good, thanks.
Good, welcome. So you've been typed a while ago. How long has it been about?
Oh, it's been about 3 months.
Oh, good. Yeah, good masculine sensory there. Yeah.
My
So
masculine sensory.
yeah, so I already know your type.
Yeah.
What was interesting when you came in the community is you just wanted everyone to type you. Like you wanted everyone's opinion. You were like TE polling everybody. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that should have been a good indication that I was TE,
Right.
but I didn't get
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you got here, like what your history in typology is, and we'll go on from
Yeah.
there.
So I first got into MBTI about 5 years ago through work. So I took the official test when we have to write it down and someone's administering it. I got a report following that, and the type I got was INTJ. Surprise, surprise. Everyone seems to get that.
Right.
And parts of it I could kind of relate to, and parts of it, well, actually, most of it couldn't relate to. So I kind of just put it to the side and didn't think about it again after that. And then it wasn't until the start of this year that I was on Reddit and I found the OP subreddit, and someone was in there offering to type people. So I thought, okay, why not? And so I contacted him. He typed me. The type he gave me didn't really fit my understanding of what I knew of MBTI at the time.
Right.
So that kind of sparked my interest in OP and kind of getting an understanding of how it worked. And yeah, and that's when I joined the class and posted a post asking people to type me to figure out my type. So
yeah, and you reached out to people individually and all that kind of stuff too.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't brave enough to post my video in the Facebook group.
Right.
I still wanted to control who saw it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so really good. So and then you've had the time to process now, and you're conscious of your type. You've met a type twin, Andrew, so I'm sure that helped as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really helpful actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially trying to see that masculinity, as I was saying to you before.
Yeah.
That was something that I was kind of struggling to see, or at least when I was comparing myself to other masculine lead TEs.
Yeah. Or at least the anecdotes of what masculine TE is and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, because I don't see myself that way.
Right. Do you see the tribe as aggressive?
I see the tribe as scary.
Scary?
Yeah, not so much aggressive, just scary.
Well, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. There's I guess there's that fear of being rejected. You know, like if I show them who I am, show them my identity, they're going to reject that and say I'm not good enough or whatever. So, yeah.
And like, do you have any reason to fear that? Like, do you have a past? Like, has that happened in the past or?
No, it's just a weak DI. I just haven't built that DI. So for me, the tribe sets the standard that I have to meet. And I'm constantly evaluating myself against that standard and, you know, relying on their feedback for that. So whatever feedback they give me, I take that on as, am I good enough or am I not good enough? So,
wow. Yeah, that's really well put. And have you started trying to set your own standards already since getting into this? Yeah.
So I actually started that before I got into OP. I kind of got to a point where I really needed to do it. I kind of hit that wall and I was like, okay, I need to do something here. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going down the road I don't want to go down. And so it started with values. So I started looking at what I actually valued separate from other people, because I'd never really considered that before. And just getting really clear on that. And then that was kind of the foundation of building my identity. And since then, I've kind of just been, I guess, asking myself questions like, do I actually like this? Or am I liking it because other people like it? Or I want other people to feel good or feel validated or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. But it's a slow process.
Right. And then like even sharing what you like is kind of embarrassing as well sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still kind of wait for someone else to share theirs first before I share mine. It's like, you show me your cards and then I'll show you mine.
Right.
because I'm just not brave enough to do it first.
Do you feel like the fear there is of being judged?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And then like there would be a pain associated with that. That's kind of what the
Yeah, there'll be negative emotion associated with that, which I don't want to
Right.
deal with.
Right.
I don't know how to deal with.
Yeah. Because like I know the savior FIs, right? They say they like things all the time and they get laughed at for it, and they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't phase them as much.
Yep.
But I guess
Yeah, I really like that about just savior DIs in general. Like they're just really open to sharing what they like and what they don't like, and they don't really care if anyone else likes it or doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm always trying to blend in or trying to fit in, and I don't want to
Right.
stand out.
Yeah. So any other things about the masculine TE that sort of any understanding you got why it doesn't seem so masculine?
Yeah, well, I guess as we were talking about before, it's because the blast is demon. I've got blast last, so
Right.
I think a big part of the masculine TE is having that blast. So I'm really good at getting shit done when it's just for me, but I don't want to control people and I don't want to tell people what to do. And when I do, it's awkward, and I kind of feel like it feels really uncomfortable to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to do quite a bit at work, and I just don't like it.
Right. Since it's so close to your TE though, is it do you think maybe it's easier than other blast lasts? I don't know if you've compared yourself to others. Yeah.
I'd say it probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do rely on the play to get me through a lot of what I do.
Right.
I think that's probably my crutch is the play.
And the play savior, is that something that's standing out too in your life?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was something I didn't initially see. I thought it was a lot more introverted than I actually am. But the play, I don't know if I use it as much when interacting with people, because I still find myself not avoiding people, but not wanting to engage with people unless there's a purpose. And I think that's the TE. There has to be a purpose to the interaction. It's usually to solve a problem or to get a job done or whatever. It's not just to, make small talk. I really can't stand small talk. But the play I use to get things done for myself. But at work, when I'm interacting with people, like I said before, it is absolutely to solve problems, to bounce ideas off them, just to try and get an understanding of what another person is thinking and what I'm thinking and what we need to do collectively to make something work.
Yeah. And then I guess also, are you looking for that ping back on what's acceptable, what people want as well? Like,
Yes.
Maybe sort of trying to find a direction with the play as well?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to the play with other people, it's usually trying to figure out what they want, what they need, what I need to do. I wouldn't usually give an opinion or I guess blast until I've collected what people want and then had time to process it. Then I would do the blast on it. And I think for that reason, I think people kind of have, and I've noticed at work, people kind of have expectations of me that because they see the play, they think I'm confident, I'm really good at getting things done. But with the blast at the bottom, yes, I go and I collect all the ideas and try and figure out what people want. But then it takes me longer to actually put that into action because of the blast last. And I think that sort of then lowers people's expectations of me.
Right. But when you do get it done, because you've got the consume above blast, when you do finally get it done, it's done right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what the idea is behind it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't want to just put anything out.
No. Like it has to be right. Because I know that, I'm going to be judged for it. So it has to be right.
Yeah, right. But so it's interesting that you want to be judged on it being right and not on it getting done. Like that's higher in priority in some way.
Well, it's both.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely both. I mean, obviously, I want to get it done, but I
Yeah.
want to get it done right. So
Right.
sometimes I kind of have to weigh up what's more important, and it depends on the situation, and it depends on who I'm doing it for as well.
Yeah. I'm also wondering about the spectrum, the TE-NE spectrum. Have you been able to understand what that means? What you're seeing, what kind of objective reality you're seeing that others aren't?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know about the NE side of things. That's still very abstract for me. And like the only way that I see myself doing it is just connecting things together. But the TE spectrum, I'm always looking at people's competence on a spectrum and figuring out where they fit on that spectrum. And I don't do it so much in my personal life, but at work, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what position someone's in. They can be a manager and they can just be really shit at their job. And I put them lower on the spectrum. And therefore I wouldn't take them as seriously as other people for that reason.
Right. In the TE at least. Yeah.
Yes.
In the competence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then vice versa, I guess, as well, where like someone can be in a very low position but very competent, and then they would go higher. Yeah.
And because I'm doing that, I guess I just have that automatic expectation that people are doing that to me as well. So that's why it's important to keep a higher standard, and therefore when I'm delivering stuff, it needs to be good.
Right. So the projection is like, and then that's why the insecurity comes, because you think you have to live up to those standards you're putting on everyone else as well.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, standards go both ways.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, because otherwise you would feel hypocritical or something.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. And so then the NE, you said you were seeing less, but are there cases where you have been seeing it?
Yeah, so the NE for me, like I find I'm constantly, as I said before, making connections with things, but it's hard for me to then bring it into the SI, narrow it down, and make it something tangible that I can sell to other people to get buy-in from them. That's the hard part. And so a lot of the time I don't do that because I don't know how to put it into, some kind of template that people actually understand what I'm talking about.
Right. So you're conscious of it, but it stays internal.
It does. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
there's only like certain people that I'll bring it out, but I'm also very selective about what I do bring out as well, because a lot of the times the connections that I'm making are personal experiences that I've had that other people wouldn't understand. So I wouldn't be able to explain that to someone.
Without the full SI, they wouldn't get it. You'd have to give them the SI and then the connection. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah. And like, do you see yourself guessing as well a lot when you're taking? Yeah.
Yes, I can't help but guess.
Right.
And I think it can be kind of I can see how it would be frustrating for people when they're telling me something and I'm constantly jumping in trying to guess what the end is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess like that's just it's just patience helps work with that too, I guess.
Yeah, and that's definitely something I need to work on.
Well, everybody does. Yeah, that's like the one thing that everyone needs. Yeah.
Yeah, but I notice I do it with movies. I'm constantly trying to guess what the ending is, and for that reason, I miss a lot of things in the actual movie itself. So there are so many movies where I've had to watch more than once because I'm trying to guess the ending, and I'm not paying attention to what's actually happening. I miss all the detail.
Wow. Is that like a metaphor for life too, then?
Probably, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so we're touching a bit on that consume. So I guess it's double activated. It's pretty strong. So you must know what you like. You must take it in some way.
I do, absolutely, yeah. But the thing with the consume is because it's what I really want to be doing. I have to earn it. I have to do the play first. I have to do all the other stuff that makes me feel like I've then earned that consume. And
Right.
the consume for me is very personal, like it is for most people. But everything that I consume has a purpose. I need to be able to put it into action, or it needs to be able to solve some sort of problem that I have.
Yeah.
So I've recently set up a YouTube channel where I do book reviews.
Oh,
and
nice.
all of the books, well, not all of them, most of the books that I read are all nonfiction.
Do you have a link we can put in the description for people?
Yeah, I can do that. I've been kind of keeping it quiet for a bit, but yeah, sure, I can do that.
Great.
And all of the books that I read, so I take out my key learnings from the books and put that in the review. And these are things that I have been actioning in my life. So if it's like creating habits, or fixing my mindset for growth rather than being a fixed mindset, that kind of thing. And so that's the kind of thing that I consume, and OP is obviously one of them.
Right.
It just needs to be able to help me in some way.
Yeah, that's really good. And yeah, so I was thinking about that in your typing video, where you had your Taekwondo black belt that you went to get, and then you're saying just now you're saying you have to feel like you've earned the consume. So like consume is taking something for self. And so you said, I can't take that black belt for self until I feel like I've earned it. Is that kind of what was happening there?
Yeah. So that was partly because I'd already had my own standard set for that black belt, and I had based those standards off of comparing myself to everyone else at that level. Right. And I do this with everything, and I look at everyone who's doing the same thing as me, and I go, okay, I need to be better than that. So that is my standard. It's better than that person. And when I got my black belt, I didn't feel like I'd performed as good as I could have. And so I didn't feel like I'd earned it. And I spent 2 years after that training some more to then sit it again. And at that point, I felt like I was sort of above and beyond where I needed to be. And only then could I actually accept that.
Right. So like, do you see that kind of thing happen in other places in your life as well? Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's both good and bad. It's good in the way that it means I'm not going to settle for less, but it's bad in the way that I probably set some expectations that are unrealistic and unachievable. And then I can kind of, I don't want to say give up, because I don't usually give up. It's difficult to achieve something that's almost unachievable.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, like, even if it is achievable, it'll just take way more work than you would need to put into it, that you might be neglecting other things because you're not settling on one thing.
Yeah, and that's something I have noticed with the NEs. Like when someone's telling me a story, I want to skip to the end. And I do that with everything that I want to achieve. I just want to get to the end. And sometimes I can neglect the SI steps in between, what it actually takes to get there. And then I become disillusioned at some point, because I'm like, this is actually a lot more work than I expected. And I don't know if I want to do this now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not only a lot more work than you expected because you didn't have all the SI on what it would actually take, but also because of your high standards for yourself and what the end actually looks like and how to get to that actual end.
Yep.
So then rather than settling for like a lower standard end, would you just abandon the project, or would you actually do that, bring the standard down?
Depends on the reason why I'm doing it. If I'm doing it for myself, which is not usually the case, I would lower the standard. If I'm doing it for someone else, then I wouldn't lower the standard. And I might have to just give up altogether.
Wow. And so the black belt was for yourself?
Yes, that was for myself. Probably the only thing I've done for myself.
Right.
Which is very sad.
And then so you have the energy dom thing, you've got the sleep third. Do you see yourself constantly comparing the sleep with the play, or do you see that balance in your life? Yeah,
I'm very aware of the energy that I'm expending. And like I recently got, when I say recently, like in the last couple of years, got right into sleeping habits and, trying to maximize my sleep so that I can perform better during the day. Because I realized that I was sleeping at weird times, and I was waking up tired, and I wasn't, thinking as clearly as I could have. And so that was one of the things that kind of pushed me into looking into sleep and trying to find a sleep cycle that worked for me.
Right.
But I am very aware of when I'm starting to get tired, when I need to rest. And it probably helps that I'm not an extremely sociable person. So when it comes to the weekends, I don't usually do a lot, so I can kind of recharge, which is good.
Yeah. And so, like, do you see yourself as well finding that if you increase the comfort in your life, the general, the general SF comfort in your life, that you'll perform better, you'll be happier,
Yeah, and I think this probably also ties into being visual as well. My external environment is I'm very easily influenced by that, by the state of it, and so that definitely determines by how comfortable I feel and how much energy I have, and whether I'm stressed or not.
Right. So like when you optimize that aspect of your life, it sort of gives you more energy.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, well, we're getting through all this like really good, really efficiently.
Do I need to go into more detail?
Yeah. Okay. So then what about that SI though? So do you see it? I don't know. How do you see the SI play out? Do you see yourself going over past events, relating everything back to something that happened to you?
I do. And because my sleep is SF, I do it in the sleep. But also my sleep is double feminine, which means that there's a very good chance that I'm going to forget how I actually feel about something. And that has been problematic and resulted in me kind of repeating past mistakes or putting myself in situations that I've already been in because I don't remember how I felt about it. And the only way I've
managed to forgive too easily and things like this too.
I do, yeah. I'm really bad at holding grudges because I forget what I was mad about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good and bad, but yeah.
It's good and bad, yeah. So I've had to start journaling and rereading what I'm journaling just to kind of solidify the reason why I made that decision based on how I was feeling, because obviously feelings play a part and I have to acknowledge those at some point. But the problem that I have is when other people are involved, it's very easy for me to forget how I felt in favor of making someone else happy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you also conscious of SI in terms of the steps, the process, working out a process to get things done? I guess with the self-help thing, you are kind of doing that.
Yeah. So I do that when I write my reviews, because I have to do like a template. I have like an SI template, and I kind of map out the steps of how I want to do the review, what I've learned, and blast from there. But like also in my daily life, like I've got certain routines, that I have in place just to kind of help me get stuff done. But I didn't notice how much I want to skip steps until I tried to read a recipe.
Right.
Luckily, it wasn't like a critical ingredient that I was missing, but I noticed I kept missing things from the recipe. I just wanted to jump and make it my own.
Right. Yeah. Not go into the details, not be responsible to all of the SI steps, I guess.
Yeah. And I notice it when I read things. I definitely skip over things and pull out main points, but I miss a lot of the detail, which has got me in trouble before, especially at work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, are the details all that important anyways? As long as you get the main points.
I don't think so, but it depends on who you're talking to. Right. I work with a lot of suspected savior SIs, and they would say otherwise. So.
Right. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure they would. Like, I think in some way they understand that all of the details aren't so important, but they can't deal with life without them. If that makes sense.
Yeah. The biggest issue I've had is when I've written a report for work and got someone to peer review it, and
oh yeah,
they would pick up on absolutely everything.
yeah,
And I'm not saying it's like grammatical errors, because those are fine. It's just someone reading the report who isn't aware of what it is that the report's about, because there's not enough. I haven't added enough detail in there. There's not enough SI in there. They're not really sure what it's about.
right.
So,
Okay.
not
So
good.
even that, yeah. So that's exactly why you do need the SI, because then you can't even
I
track.
definitely need it, but I find it frustrating. I'm like, come on,
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
do you
No,
really
'cause
need to do this?
yeah, because we were saying that, like, oh yeah, the point is what's important, like what it's about is important, but you can't even get what's it's about without the details.
Yeah. Okay. My argument is that I'm writing the report for someone who already knows what it's about. And that is true. I am writing it for someone who already knows what it's about. They're aware of the project. They know what's happened. And so for that reason, I don't feel the need to then add in unnecessary detail because I already know.
Right.
So that's my argument for it.
That's interesting. So DE I've always associated with trying to be relevant to the lowest common denominator, to like the people who don't know what it's about, try to bring everybody up to speed. But I guess that has more to do with BLAST.
Maybe.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'd say maybe it does, because I tailor whatever I'm communicating to the audience that I'm communicating to.
Okay.
So if I'm talking to you about something, I will base my communication on what I think you already know about
Right.
what I'm going to say.
Yeah. So where I notice it more, I guess, is in like YouTube videos where blasters talk.
Yeah.
They'll blast about like all of the basics, bring everyone up to speed, and then just for me, like from my ears, just never get anywhere. Whereas I see myself do the opposite. Like most people don't get what I'm saying. Only if
But what are you talking about? Are you talking about complicated stuff?
right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like dumbing it down to the lowest common denominator. Sorry about that FE there, but that's pretty much how I feel doing it.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah. Okay. And those systems that you're building for yourself, the habits to get you through daily life that you're saying, do you see yourself improving upon them, making them better over time? Have they evolved?
I want to say yes, because otherwise what's the point?
Right.
Yeah, I would say I am probably. Usually I'm trying to improve on them over time. As I get more information, it's not like I set up the system and go, okay, that's it. I don't need to improve on this anymore. As new information comes in, or I find better ways of doing things, then I will kind of rejig the system.
And I guess that's kind of what the NE is always doing. It's trying to break the system you have, make it better, improve it, change it up.
Yeah. And you know, being energy dom, I want things to be as energy efficient as possible.
And so I guess also skipping steps is that too. It's like, oh no, that step is required. So let me try to skip a different, like, because fine tuning, you got to skip steps, see what you can do instead.
You do, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Really good. So let's get into the blast a little bit. We talked about it a little bit, but do you see that it's something that's really a void in your life? It's something that you need to work on? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the one thing that I was sure about when I was self-typing was blast.
Right.
Yeah. I think all of my, okay, not all of them, but a lot of my life problems have come from blast, especially at work. Because project managers, blast is an important thing for them. That's what they do. It's like the foundation of project management is communication.
Yeah, why did you go into project management with?
Because TE is good for project management. Well, TE and SI. I'm kind of missing the SI. But yeah, a lot of project managers are, save your TE and SI, and they usually play blast.
So you knew somewhere you were TE, like you knew somewhere you wanted to project manage?
Yeah, I did. I wish I had known all this, but when I was trying to self-type.
Right. No, but I mean, like, also, if you're forced to use your blast, that's how you're going to get better at it, right?
Yes. But, like, it also explains why I avoided it as well. Like, I have to use it at work, but it was always an area that I felt really uncomfortable. Like, if if I knew that I had a meeting the next day, which I'm always in meetings, but initially when I first started in the job, I would have to run meetings, and I would be really nervous about it the night before. Like I'd be thinking about it. It almost kept me up thinking about having to direct and run these meetings, control people. And that kind of freaked me out. And it's getting easier, but my issue now is just trying to deliver what I need to deliver in a way that makes sense to people. And that's the biggest problem I have. I feel like I talk in circles a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you found tools to help you deliver information better, or like any tips for people?
That's kind of why I've been doing the book reviews.
Okay.
Partly that, just to kind of get used to blasting on camera. And I think it's getting better. I think it's getting easier.
Right.
But it's never going to feel comfortable. I don't think it's going to be one of those things that I'm just always going to feel a bit weird about.
Yeah, I mean, the ST blast is very practical, very direct, very about things working in reality. Yeah, getting things to work. It's like, do this now, do this, and then this, and then this. And I can see, like, from my perspective, it seems really dry. And so from your perspective as well, probably it seems like really dry. Why would anyone want this from anybody? Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's probably partly the reason why I don't tend to talk a lot.
Right.
Because when I say something, it needs to have a purpose. Like there needs to be a point to it. I'm not just going to talk for the sake of talking. But then when I do say something, it's really boring. I don't have anything interesting to say. It is ST boring.
Right. But I mean, like, I guess, like, all of the interest, you have your interest, you have your books. So when you're blasting about the books, like, there's a point. There's interesting stuff there, but the takeaways is always some kind of practical steps.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, otherwise I don't see the point in talking about it. If it's not practical, what's the point?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. What about, like, consume talking, just sharing what you consumed?
Yeah, I don't really do that a lot, and that is something that I'm trying to do more of. Yeah, and I think that's going to help with the blast. Like in a work setting, I'm not going to talk about what I consume because like I keep work and personal very separate. But I've been sort of trying to practice doing that with friends and telling them what I've consumed without there having to be a point to it.
Yeah.
Because like, people do it to me all the time. They just tell me what they've learned, what they've read. And I'm like, okay, I wish I could do that. But I just don't feel like I can, like I'm allowed to.
Right. Yeah. So how do you get to that point where you feel like you're allowed to? You trust the person first? Like you can't just be a random person?
Can't be a random person. It has to be someone that I have like a DI connection with.
Right. Yeah. And so like the precursor for that connection, like they have to open up first, or you can take that step?
They usually have to open up first.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I would say 99% of the time. I'm going to say 99% because I can't think of the 1% where I've had to open up first, but most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, really good. Do you have anything that maybe we skipped over that you want to talk about people of your same type? Any advice? Anything? Any message you want to give to people?
Any advice?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only thing that I've kind of, well, not the only thing, but one of the things that I've kind of realized is, and this was having a conversation with an observer, is that everyone is going to judge you at all times, regardless of what you're doing. Whether you're doing something good or whether you're doing something bad, judged. No, you have to hear this.
Okay.
And the sooner that we accept that and just get on with our lives, the happier we're going to be. We just need to do our own shit, regardless of what other people think. And that is really, really hard to accept. Really hard. But that is something I'm working on.
I mean, wouldn't that make you more fearful if you just knew that? Like, isn't just ignoring that and be like, no one's judging me. Now I can do my thing.
Well, see, I can't ignore it because I'm DE.
Right.
I'm always looking at what other people are doing. I'm always thinking about what other people might be thinking, and like it can drive you nuts.
Right.
So just accepting that is happening is just easier than pretending it's not happening, because I can't pretend it's not happening.
So, okay, just to give some contrast on that, from my perspective, nobody's doing that because I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I know. This is the curse of the DE.
Yeah, nobody judges anybody. Who judges? Like, who cares?
Oh,
who cares about
everyone's
others?
watching. No, not everyone, but yeah.
The DEs are, interesting.
The DEs are absolutely watching. Yep.
Yeah, and that's what gets me personally into trouble as well. It's not being aware of that and not catering to that, and
yeah. So I think a balance somewhere in the middle is good. That's optimal. That's where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because like the opposite tidal wave is, if you're not paying attention to what people are judging, then you're not paying. They could judge you like in a bad way, and that's where the tribe comes in, because you're not trying to optimize their judgment. You're not trying to make sure that they're judging you in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, like, regardless of what you do, there's always going to be someone who is going to think negatively of what you're doing. Like, whether you have the best intentions of the world, there's always going to be someone who's going to be like, "Oh, you're a dick," or you're just being shit. Whatever they think. Yeah. There's always going to be someone who's going to think that, and you can't please everyone.
Right.
And that is something that I'm trying to learn, is you just can't please everyone, no matter what you do. There's always going to be someone who's going to be unhappy. So
it might not even be because you didn't do it good enough. It could be for some completely other personal or other thing. Yeah.
Or they're just an asshole.
Yeah. Okay. There's the masculine TE. Good.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna bring it back. Rein it back in.
No, it was good. It was appropriate. FE. Okay. So, well, thank you very much. Check out you're going to be doing books. Like, do you have a schedule of how often you're going to be doing books, or just when you feel like it?
I do one once a month. It gives me enough time to read the book and then do the review. So yeah, every month I'll put a new one up.
So yeah, check out that channel. I'll put it in pronto, and have a good one, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.